All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video. And real quick before I launch into this, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, because at the time of me recording this video, it is January 1st. All right, so straight to business, guys. Straight to business today. Gonna be starting off this new year with a little bit of a critique style video, a market watch style video. We're going to be talking about some things. Keep an open mind, guys. If I could ask you right up front, please keep an open mind in this video. Do not be afraid to leave comments in the comment section below. But we're going to talk about the direction of One Piece. Number one, it has had an incredible start, right? The first year of One Piece has been excellent. The game is growing. We're seeing some very good things. But we do need to talk about some things that could potentially be a snag with the game's growth. It could, hold up the game's, the direction of the game growing if not resolved properly. We're going to talk about 3 cards in particular and then kind of break it down. And let me also preface with this as well, real quick before we get started. One of the big selling points for me when I first got into this game, no pun intended, was how cheap the game was. If you wanted to make a competitive deck, like a top-tier meta deck, back in OP02, which is when I got into the game, and OP03, you really could do that. And you could do it for under $200 very easily. In fact, I have a video now that's about 6 months old or something. I don't know the exact date of it, showing good good meta decks that you could play that were competitive. And they were all like right under $100. Well, guys, we're going to look at like currently at the time of me recording this game in the West, we're in OP05. And there are 3 decks that kind of just run the show. That being Blue-Black Sakazuki, Purple Luffy, and Yellow Enel. And there are some others we're going to look at as well. There's a few other decks to talk about. But the price point is becoming, in my personal opinion, a little too high on entry level. Because think about it like this, guys. Think about it for a new player coming into this game. We're going to keep that mindset. Because yes, all of us already here that have the cards, well, that's nice. We have the cards. Yeah, but what about the new players? We need to think about that, and we need to come up with some good solutions for this. And who knows? Hopefully it'll fall on the right ears. And if enough people start talking about it, maybe it'll gain enough traction, and maybe Bandai will do something about it. Because what we're going to talk about today, like I said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it could hinder the growth of the game moving forward. And as usual, guys, any comments you have, please do not be afraid to leave them in the comments section below. Okay, first card we're going to talk about is Katakuri. Okay, Katakuri, we're going to talk about a few things. I am okay with alternate art rarities like this one being as expensive as it is, because, hey, just don't buy the alt art. However, I have a serious issue when the lowest base rarity of a card, being a secret rare, by the way, in the case of Katakuri, is $70. Guys, this $70 is a little extreme. Because, again, you have to think of it like this. Maybe a player likes running yellow decks. What's going to cost them? Most yellow decks right now are running anywhere from 2 to 3 Katakuris. That's $150 to $225 for 2 cards. That logic alone, knowing that preemptive knowledge alone might make someone say, wait, how expensive is this game? Because that is becoming way too expensive. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, there are always alternate versions to play, but you need the competitive players too, and when competitive players trying to get into a new game see this, that is a massive L for them. That is a turnoff to them. That is something they really don't want to get into, right? Some people will. I'm just saying it's a big turnoff to certain players, certain people. So the first thing we're going to look at here is Katakuri. Next up, we're going to look at Borsalino. Okay, we're going to look at the black Borsalino, the navy one, the black navy 4 cost here. The blue one's actually fine in my opinion, like $1 for this, and this is a super rarity. They're both super rare, by the way, the 7 cost and the 4 cost. But notice the entry-level Borsalino, which is this one right here. This is a staple in every single black deck, guys. And you're looking at a $50 entry. $50 for one of them. Just for one, guys. This isn't for a playset. Remember, this is for one card. This is too extreme. Guys, this is just simply too extreme. for the new players. Again, it's mainly, and it's even for the older players. It's not just the new players. Because say I'm someone who plays only red decks, right? But then, you know, I see Gecko Moria coming out in the future, and okay, maybe I want to start playing with the black cards now. Okay, well, what are some staple black cards I need to pick up? Okay, Borsalino is an absolute staple. Well, it's gonna cost you $200 for a playset. That's for 4 cards. That's a problem, right? That is an issue in my personal opinion. Again, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. And real quick, some other black staples you could be looking at. Look at Sabo. This one, see, $8. I mean, it's really more than that, actually, isn't it? I think it's a little more. It's more like $14, but still, like that's acceptable, right? Because this, again, this is a super rarity, staple card across all fields. You can get this for anywhere from $10 to $14. That's acceptable, right? And again, we're not talking. Let me go back to the Borsalino stuff. This is an alt art Borsalino, $125. Literally, who cares? That's for me. Now there are some people who like to chase the more rare alternate art stuff, and that's I understand. I appreciate that, and it's nice to see these cards, especially when, you know, when I'm doing like a game analysis and you see someone who has a blinged out deck, has like all the most expensive alt arts. That's cool. That's really cool. I do like that. And this one too. Like, see, this is a alt art Borsalino that is only available from a winning player. Only a winning player of a tournament, of a certain level tournament, like a regional or higher tournament, can even get this card. Then they can sell it for the price point they want. I totally understand this. This is actually good for the economy of One Piece. This is fine. This is excellent, in fact. Like that is a good sign when you have cards in the game that are that expensive. My only issue is when the base level is this expensive. And we're gonna look at one more card, and then we're gonna talk about what I think the base level of a card should be. Okay, Queen is the last one. And of course, we're talking about the base Queen here. These are other Queens. Don't worry about this stuff. Now, again, here's a Treasure Cup Queen. $1,500. Sure, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that because I don't need this card in my deck. If I really want to put this deck together, well, I can just buy this one. Well, oh shoot, it's $40 a card. Right? That's where the issue lies. When I need 4 of these in my deck, that's $160. If I need 4 Borsalinos in my deck, that's $200. See, that's the extreme part. Okay, so real quick, going off this idea, when it comes to rarities in One Piece, there's common and uncommon, rare, super rare, secret rare. And then I don't want to talk about any of the alt art stuff. That's not a concern of mine for this video. That's something totally else entirely. Commons, uncommons, and rares should all be under $5, obviously, right? Like that should just be a no-brainer in my opinion. Super rarities, I understand getting up to 15, right? Like for oh man, that's like a really special, card. And if I need 4 of them, it might cost me a pretty penny. So maybe I'll start off with 2 and work my way up to 4 over time. Super rarity should be like $20 a card, $25 maximum for a secret rarity. But guys, this $40 here, again, this is, don't even look at the, this is like a super pre-release one. Don't even look at that. We're talking about the base level Queen, $40. Base level Borsalino, $50. Base level Katakuri, $75. Remember, like we just looked at, it wasn't 70. I'm sorry if I didn't say that, if I didn't explain that. It says 70 on the front there. This is just like with $5 shipping not included. This card is going to run you $75, guys. Just like you see it right here. 75, 70 plus 5, 70 plus 5, 75. It's $75, guys. So with that in mind, where do y'all think it should be? Like if anyone listening at this point, first of all, thank you for listening this far into it. Where do you think rarities should land on the scale? So in other words, rare and lower, what do you think that price point should max out at? Super rarity, where should that price point max out at? And then secret rarity. I'm not concerned with any other rarities, but for me personally, I think anything that is a rare and lower should be around $5 and under. Anything that is a super rarity or lower, obviously, well, let me just say super rarity, that should be $15 to $20 maximum. Lower than that's fine too, obviously, for ones that aren't as used. There's not as much demand for. And then secret rarity, I just don't see in what world it would be okay to be over $25 for. 30 is maybe pushing it, right? 30 is like really pushing it. But guys, this is too extreme for the new players. I'm just going to say it. Unless they're just an extremely rich person where they can play whatever game they want. For the average player, this is way too much for a cost of entry into getting into yellow. And if you want to get into purple, this is too expensive. And then if you want to get into black, let me get back to it because I don't remember how far back it was. This is too expensive. You see what I'm saying? So, and again, I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to nip this problem at the bud. You know, nip it in the bud, however that expression goes. This is something that I hope gets drawn to the attention of the people at Bandai, because something needs to be done here, guys. This is too extreme. So now, real quick, I did make a slideshow for us that we're going to look at real quick. This is going over some of the best decks in the format currently, and these are winning lists. If you look at the top left here, these are all winning lists, and I just have the most expensive cards that I'm going over in the middle here. Like you see the yellow line, this one goes to Cracker. Cracker's $13 a card right now. We already looked at Katakuri, $75 a card. Seven Lin, this is from a starter deck, $17 a card now because the demand is higher than the supply, right? Sanji, $10 a card right now. Yamato, $7 a card right now. You know, it's funny, like, Yamato is a super rarity, right? And so is Sanji. And Yamato's, like, way bigger than Sanji, but Sanji's used in more decks, so it costs more. Anyway, long story short, if you're trying to get into Enel right now, it's going to run you about $400 to buy this deck. If you're a new player, like, I just got into the game, you know, by the way, if you are a new player, you need to go to a locals and see how many, like, print out a list and be like, guys, who can help me get started? Find your local game store. Always support local first, by the way. See if you can buy these cards off local stores if you do have to buy them, if no one can help you. But be like, guys, has anyone got like a spare beige laying around? I mean, I hate to say to be that bum kind of guy. You know, I don't mean it like that. Always buy what you can, what you're able to buy. But if the price point of one piece is keeping you out, at least ask your local players. See if you can borrow a deck, just anything to get into the game. Because, guys, I want everyone to be able to play this game and experience it. This is a very fun game and an extremely enjoyable game to play. Okay, so Enel, it's going to run you about $400. Okay, guys. Next up is Purple Luffy. This is going to run you about $350. You can analyze each one of these if you want to, but basically $40 for Queen. Your starting price point is $170 after shipping and tax, right? After shipping and handling. $56 for your 4 Magellans. $40 for the Purple Trafalgar Law is kind of like Yellow Sanji. It's running you about $10 a card. You know, some other staples, you know, you might be able to save money if you can get an ST10 starter deck for like for the Eustace Kid, and that's really about it, isn't it? That's about it from there. But anyway, long story short, guys, you know, all these, and some of these cards I didn't even add, like X-Drake, that's like another like $3 a card. Ulti's like $2 a card. It starts adding up very quickly, guys. Like some of these cards are going to cost you like 10 cents. You could save all your money and just ask someone at your locals for some of these super common cards that are just vanillas. But excuse me, but some of these other cards are pretty expensive. Okay, Purple Luffy, Blue Black Sakazuki. You're looking at a $475 entry level, really probably closer to $500 after shipping and handling. If you were to buy every one of these cards, you're looking at about $500 shipping, or after shipping and handling, you're looking at about a $500 entry fee just to play Blue Black Sakazuki as a new player. $200 for the 4 Borsalinos alone. $40 for 2 Kuzans. If you run more than 2 Kuzans, just add 20 every time. Hina and Great Eruption are $20 a card right now because they come from the ST06 Absolute Justice starter set, guys. It's not being printed anymore. So what we have is what we got. So now you have a demand that is starting to far you know, exceed the supply, or however you'd say. I might have messed that. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like the demand is higher than the supply. The same idea with Queen, by the way. Queen, that's why it's $40 a card. Think of it like this, guys. Queen is it's about the same rarity. Actually, I think only 2 Queens come in a box, and I think 4 Hinas come in the ST06 box. I could be wrong. Anyway, long story short, they both come from starter sets. And you see what you get. It becomes very expensive. Sabo, like we just looked at, that's almost $15 a card. That's $42. So Blue Black Sakazuki is pretty much the most expensive deck in the format currently. And it is close, by the way. Like NL is up there, but really Blue Black Sakazuki is definitely the most expensive. Okay, let's keep going. Red, Purple Luffy. Okay, well, say you want to run like a deck that just runs big, massive characters, just drops bombs all day, right? Oh, and that's one more thing I need to mention. This list that I found, again, all these are top 4 or top 8 lists from huge tournaments, right? 438 player tournament, first place. Top 4 tournament, 500 players. First place and 500 players. Okay, these are not just random lists that I threw together that are like the most expensive cards. These are just your average lists. But yeah, Blue Black Sakazuki here. Next up, Red Purple Luffy. This has both Edward Newgate, which is running for about $20 a card right now, the 9 cost, and 10 cost Purple Gear 5 Luffy, about $18 a card. But look what is the most expensive card in this list, and it's not close. Queen. Queen is $40 a card, guys. We just talked about it. Radical Beam's like $3 a card, by the way. What else? $10 for the Trafalgar Laws. You can do the math on these later if you want to. These are rough estimates, by the way. It's not exactly $400. It might be a little less or it might be a little more. But this is basically going to be your entry level if you're trying to get into Red Purple Luffy as a newer player, or you just want to change decks. Okay? Now we're going to go down a little bit. And how funny is it? We're going to go to decks that are pretty much, you know, older decks that are from like OP02, but these are still more affordable than some of the newer stuff that people are seeing. Or maybe that makes sense. As it gets older, it becomes less used or something. I don't know. Y'all tell me. If y'all know in the comment section below, by all means, tell me. Otama, for a 2K counter, you're looking at $7 a card. That's going to run you almost $30. Luffy, $9 to $10 a card. Sanji, the 2 cost 2K, about $5 a card right now, guys. About $4 to $5 a card right now. We already talked about Newgate, $20 a card. Ace is $10 a card. Rad Beam is 4 and Guard Point's 3, so I just have it as like, or no, I think Rad Beam is 5 and Guard Point is 4. It's something like that, guys, and it ended up being 9 times 4 because it's running 4 of each, so that's going to be $36 for all 8 of those. And then Marco, $5 a card, that's $20. So you guys see where this is going. This is at least more affordable than the others, and this is still a very competitive deck. Newgate will be competitive for a while, I think. But so this is at least these next 2 decks are going to be cheaper alternative versions, and in the near future, guys, I'm going to make a budget deck list for y'all to help the newer players find something they can play in OP05 and still have fun and still be able to compete with and win. Okay, next up is Red Green Law. About $250 right now, guys. Again, I don't want to go through every single one of these. Y'all kind of get y'all can see the numbers. The really expensive card in this deck is the 5 cost Law. Because I believe this was also from a starter deck. I could be wrong about that. It's been so long, I don't even remember. In fact, let me just see. I've still got up the no, never mind. It doesn't matter. So I believe this is $25 a card though. So if you have these already, then you can easily put this deck together for under, you know, about $150. And some of these are commons. Again, guys, with all of these decks that I've been showing, always ask for the commons from your local gaming shop friends, because they're going to have them just laying around. You know what I mean? Some of these, some of these I don't think I have any. Well, Ice Age. I think Ice Age is the only common in this entire deck. I could be wrong. What else? Now, see, in the Purple Luffy deck, you could probably scrounge up a lot of these. Like the Sphinx here, Scratch Manapoo, Page 1, things like that. These are all just meant to be 4 cost 6Ks. These can all actually just be in. You could just go 4 Scratch Manapoo or whatever. Anyway, back to where we were. Newgate, Red Green Law. This is a pretty affordable deck, and it's actually still working, guys. Like, it's still running even in a meta dominated by Blue Black Sakazuki, which kind of counters this deck. This deck is still seeing some play because I think it has a pretty decent matchup into Enel. I could be wrong about that. Y'all tell me in the comment section below if I'm off. Maybe it's Purple Luffy. I don't know. But this has topped tournaments recently, so this is still a very good deck. Okay. So there's Red Green Law, and last but not least of the list that I'm showing today, Red Purple Law is pretty cheap to get started with, and it can be even cheaper if you don't run these Gordons. Now, Gordon is very good, but I'm not saying this is not a good card. This is a very good card, the Gordon is, but that's going to drop $40 off if you don't run these 2 Gordons. And as a replacement for them, you can go Gamma Knife. Now, guys, calm down. I know it's not the same. It is not the same. I'm just saying, for the budget options, it is an option. Or even like what's it? The purple. Oh gosh, Hydra. I think it's called. Hydra's another similar option. Okay, but this is a pretty affordable deck with Red Purple Luffy. The most expensive is these promos of Gordon. and also the promo of the 4-cost Law, $10 a card. But yeah, so that's about it. So long story short, guys, I think certain cards are really hindering the growth of the game. Not because they're broken. Like, let me be very clear at this ending part here. I'm starting to wrap up the video. It's not that Queen's broken. It's not that Borsellino's broken. And it's not that Katakuri's broken. Now, some people could argue they are. People could argue that all day if they want to. That's not what this video is for. My argument has more to do with the fact that these cards have a high demand with a very limited supply. And it's becoming unhealthy for the game. That's all I wanted to say on that, guys. Like I said, in the near future here, I do want to come out with a video that is going to be laying out some options for players to get started in the game in OP05. You know, some options that will, you know, some cheaper deck options that you're going to be able to play to get into the game and have fun and compete and be able to win the local still. So, all right, that's about it for now, guys. If I missed anything, please don't hesitate to tell me in the comment section below. And one last thing I want to stress is I hope no one takes this video the wrong way. I'm not trying to, like, shed, you know, or cast a shadow on One Piece saying, oh, it's all doom and gloom, you know, the game's dying. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, I'm saying the game is doing so well that they did not supply enough in the beginning to meet the demands that the growth of the game, you know, or that would continue with the growth of the game. So that's all I'm trying to say, is that the game is doing very well, and there's a few things I hope they keep in mind. Who knows? Y'all tell me too. Do you think OP06 will fix this? Because in OP06 we're starting to see some new decks pop up too, but that's about 2 to 3 months away still, right? At the time of me recording this, I think they're still about 2 months away or 3 months away from OP06 over here in the West. Then we'll start seeing the yellow green Yamato. We'll start seeing Gecko Moria. We'll start seeing I think there's 1 or 2 other decent other, you know, decks from that period. Blue Blurple Vinsmoke Raiju. We got some really cool stuff coming out. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Again, I hope no one takes this video the wrong way. If you do, it is what it is. It's whatever. I'm just trying to call attention to something that I see as a pretty serious issue that hopefully will be addressed here soon. Especially, again, for the newer players and for players who are wanting to try different deck options, but they can't because of cards like this existing. All right, guys, that's it. Enough rambling from me. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, guys, peace.